This is what happens when an RV manufacturer takes a very popular floor plan and cranks it up to 11, hits it at its full potential. Welcome, everybody. My name is Josh, the RV Nerd. Welcome to Bish's RV, and welcome to the Elkhart County Fairgrounds to the annual Alliance RV Rally. I was invited down to get to see some of the new stuff, and I actually saw the very first Delta 262, the very first travel trailer essentially that Alliance made, and it's been a couple of years, and I wanted to see what was new on these, and they did not rest on their laurels. What I like the most is the number one points of criticism that viewers offered. Alliance listened and they did something about it. I think the most obvious example of that is what they did under the entertainment center by including an electric space heating fireplace. That was by far and away the number one single most frequent request that we got on this. A lot of people also said, man, what about auto leveling? Well, it's not standard, but it's available, so you can do the one-touch auto leveling on this. But when you look at this floor plan, it's that same, people call it a 26 rear bath, but it's a 30-foot, basically tip-to-tail travel trailer. It has so many key clutch little differentiating details. It's a little bit taller, true queen bed, factory standard dual air, both of which can be operated simultaneously on 30 amp service. That right there is an exceptionally rare quality. These are 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, proven, Goodyear endurance radials, gigantic front pass-through, drop frame compartment, a combo griddle outside cooker, as down below the fiberglass skin on the sidewalls, max size power awning, heavier rated ladder, new expanded double size solar package from what they were doing in the past, and so many other things. Now it's got a couple hitches in its giddy up. They don't offer king beds. You're going to lose the bedroom when the slide is closed if you're looking for roadside access. But information like that, giving you the good with maybe the not so good. That's what we're going to do here today. And if you appreciate that fair and candid approach, hit that subscribe button. Let's get dug in there. Where's Doug? And to give you your bearings, if you're sitting on the toilet with the door open, this is what you're looking at. So if you choose to pivot and turn that TV, this RV is toilet TV certified. I mean, if you're back here watching the Super Bowl and you're like, let's go Browns, it's, already, that's got to be worth $4,000 right there. I joke, obviously. Let's start talking about real stuff. I like the updated color palette. What do you think about this? Is the same. It's inspired. It's not exactly the same, but it's very heavily inspired by what Paradigm and Avenue are doing. I think it looks very, very sharp. And I actually kind of like the fact that the whole company has a little bit of an identity. This has a taller 6'9" ceiling, and the carpetless, ventless nature of the flooring and the way the slide floor matches the main floor, it gives it a nice, big, open feel. The RV's got some crazy awesome window coverage. It is admittedly on the poop side of the camper. They don't have massive window coverage over on the door side of the RV. And people go, well, why can't you flip it? The entry door is the reason. I'll show you in just a second. You can't flip-flop this floor plan as it sets. You'd have to add about 2 feet to the RV, which would probably add about $2,500 to the RV, and a chunk of weight to the RV, not to mention the extra towing length. So that would knock it out of a lot of half-ton towing potential and contentions. And they make other floor plans, that will maximize the campsite window coverage a little bit better, I think. This down here, I thought was really cool to see the way that they're listening to their customer base. The number one request that I heard on the Delta series is give me a fireplace or give me death. And instead of arguing with you, Alliance just went, give the people what they want, Now, the TV's up a little high, but when I give you a look from the other direction, I don't think it's terrible, especially when you're reclined in the theater seating. But you could say I'm a biased party. So this is where I'd like to ask ask the class, people who are actual Alliance owners. Have you found the TV in your 262 RB to be a problem? Now, you might notice there's that blank panel down there below the refrigerator, and you might be going like, well, what's going on with that? Well, it's not wasted. That's actually where the outdoor, I'm going to call it gradiddle, is stored, and you'll see what I mean by that in a little bit when we step outside. I want to point, I like storage that slides open to you. These big drawers are nice. I could see someone potentially overloading them. A couple things I noticed, there actually is a magnet holdback on the back of this too, just so that that thing doesn't get swinging open and banging open the cabinet doors. It'd have to get pretty violent to do that. But the little power outlets down there, it's just a nice small touch. Or if, you know, because this RV has, I think, minimal countertop prep space. Being able to keep some big appliances out of the way is kind of nice. It's easy to miss. Let me get you back here. There's a little bit of little miniature pantrytainment. There's a little bit of storage here behind the TV. One thing that does surprise me, I don't know if it was a miss. They don't usually do a lot of this in the Delta series. This is not what I call an anti-gravity door. It's just going to slow drop itself. Thankfully, it's not a slam down door. But most of the time, I've noticed Alliance tends to use things where you don't have to hold them open by hand. Let me, with this being a little bit taller ceiling, that's kind of the reason I'm tuning into this. No, they did the same thing here. That's really weird. I'm surprised they did. Maybe that was just a small miss. It is very possible, you know, when these go into actual 26 production versus these early 26 peaks that I'm looking at, that they'll be like, oh, yeah, we got to get that. Or maybe not. I don't know. Solid surface countertops in your full Delta series. Really smart execution and placement of the power outlets on here. And they, I think, did a pretty nice job of drawer space, all things considered. You see the top drawer there is actually a drawer within a drawer for your, like your silverware and whatnot. Little details like this too, I actually really love. And I think they unintentionally created an awesome improvement. First of all, a dedicated spot for a wastebasket that's very easy access. Yes, please. Thank you. But that meant that they could not have a center drain on their farm sink. I'm not mad at that, though, because if you want to create a wash basin and then rinse on the side, you can get like a big Tupperware thing to keep over here to keep some soapy water in, and then do your rinsing over here. I actually personally prefer the asymmetrical sink scenario that we have there, and that was some pretty slick alliteration. Of course, then I screwed up the word alliteration. Yeah, because here we are. Let's see here. Moving around, we've got, so this is actually one of the things I personally dislike. I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, oh yeah, it's got a U-dinette. You can pack everybody around it. Blah, 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 blah. No, you can't. That is only the size of a 2-bench dinette. That's why this RV is 30 feet and not 32 feet. A true 7-foot like U dinette would actually extend the length of the RV. And they didn't do that here. So it's actually going to be great for 2 people, but beyond that, I don't love it. This is also, they've upgraded to the 18,000 BTU Furrion Chill Cube Air. That just directly dumps all your cold air right here in the living room. And there's so many other benefits to it. That's an entirely, like, I could make a whole video dedicated just to the Chill Cube. Maybe I should. Leave me know. Maybe let me know if you'd like to learn more about that. But that Chill Cube also ducts air back into the bathroom. So what about the bedroom? Not to worry. It has its own dedicated air conditioner. The Delta series from Alliance that we're in today was, to my knowledge, basically the first travel trailer in this size and weight class that has ever standardized dual air conditioners. Now, a couple other brands have done it since your Brinkley Model Z, Brinkley Model I, they're doing it. But this is, Alliance really kind of kicked off what's becoming a defining premium feature up here with this dedicated second air. Now, this air is smaller than the one in the living room. It doesn't need to be the size of the one in the living room. I think this is like an 8,000 BTU essentially, because it's in a smaller room and it only services this room. Now, the thing is, by not having ducting running through the attic of the RV's roof, they have maximized efficiency, and the air conditioners on this will keep the RV cooler, easier, and faster. This is a 60 by 80 true queen bed, by the way. You might have noticed how your hanging wardrobe side towers actually have a removable shelf. You've got your individual side dresser drawers, really smartly located, easy access power outlets for the headboard spaces there as well. then I mean the bed gets straight up out the way, so that getting down here into this foot locker is a little bit easier. Now it's funny in like some of the smaller Delta ultralights, the little brother to this, they'll actually include drawers under this, but only in like an open bedroom arrangement. It would be tricky to get to the drawers. You pretty much would have to lift the bed anyway. So they figure if you're going to lift the bed, just maximize the big cavity storage compartment, and that's like a little sliding, almost like drawer in a sense. If you don't want it there, you can always take it out, by the way. You might notice that remote control on the wall over there between the dinette and the bedroom. That is actually for your air conditioner. So it's basically like your thermostat. If you keep that with you, like at the theater seat, it will climate control the RV according to your position in the RV, which I think is kind of a nice little touch. Now, you might have noticed in the kitchen, we have solid surface counters. Even over here in the dining, you've got wood table. Not like a lot of thermofoil. I think we might see some thermofoil in the bathroom. I can't remember. We'll double check. I do want to point out that power outlet down there on that dinette, though. Working our way around, I think you have a table and chairs choice instead of the dinette, but you also have a hide-a-bed choice instead of the theater seat. But the arrangement that we're looking at right now seems to be far and away the most popular combination. Now, the taller 6'9" ceiling means taller kitchen cabinets, a nice big open feel, taller slide out, and also more headroom in the shower, which is something that I appreciate. And I mentioned that when you're sitting at the sofa, I don't know that the TV is so high that it's irritating, but again, I haven't spent a ton of time in one of these actually trying to use it. So I would love to hear from existing Delta owners, especially owners of this floor plan. Have you found the entertainment TV viewing to be problematic whatsoever? Those folks have no idea they're on candid camera right now. Sliding back here into the bathroom, one of the first things I want to do is open one side of this medicine cabinet because it's huge. And I would say that this could be towel and or linen storage, but it will you'll see that you have another linen cabinet. Sorry, there were some folks coming. I was going to go open the door for them, but I think they spotted me and they bolted. I don't blame them. Now, I thought for some reason we were going to drop down to thermofoil countertops here in the bathroom. We did not. And I can't tell you how many luxury fifth wheels I have been in where you don't get solid surface counters even in the bathroom. Because, Delta's not the least expensive travel trailer. This is not intended to be a budget solution. This is intended to be something that just has a very high equipment trim package to it, something for long-term use and ownership. I love seeing this. I love seeing the, first of all PEX on PEX plumbing down there. They also have individual water shutoff valves, and the thing that I was excited about, an awesome space for waste baskets. That's super useful, and a lot of people don't consider that. But look at the serious drawer depth and space that we have over here. Triple drawers to the floors. Also, when those drawers aren't open, this is freaking fluffy friendly, man. It just creates a huge space back here. Or again, you can leave the door open and enjoy some toilet TV. Now, over on the left, you've got your, linen storage, your towel storage. Notice how they added a couple of these just basic little flip down hooks. That's the kind of stuff that we specifically targeted in our Wayfinder series. I love that they're doing it here. Those actually look a lot like the hooks that even we use. But hey, you know what? There's only so many suppliers to the RV industry. Now I think it's a larger 30 by 36 rectangular shower. Notice that when I stand in the shower, I do not bump my head in that sucker, even while still wearing my shoes. So in that footage, I'm functionally 6'2" tall to give you a reference point, even though I'm a little bit shorter than that. Actual flat-footed, wearing the shoes bumps me up a little bit because I wear stuff with some crazy support, running around on my feet all day, making content for you hooligans. Now, keep in mind, I say it with love. I only say hooligans because I don't know, your names individually. As I mentioned earlier, when you close the slide, you flat lose access to the bedroom. Now, if you look at this, you're like, oh my gosh, why did they build the slide so crooked? Are they dumb? There's nothing wrong here. This is a rack and pinion floor flush slide out. They're built in more of a trapezoidal shape than a square shape because they have to rock up and down when they go floor flush. They have to be like that. That also provides some rain runoff when the slide is open and it's raining like crazy. Now, you should not use the seating on this while the slide is anything but fully extended, but we can get to all of our kitchen, we can get to our bathroom, we lose our bedroom. But if you need quick access for just some storage purposes, one of the handy benefits of a rack and pinion slide out is that it's okay if you just open it partially and leave it. Some slides are okay like that, some are not. I have a whole video explaining different, usage methods and do's and don'ts on slide systems. There's a person outside checking this thing out going, what is going on with this camper? What kid is in here playing with it? Well, I'm that kid. And why am I still talking? Because I've got one hand on the camera and one hand on the slide button, and I have to kill a little bit of time until this thing gets fully open. But look at how crazy of a difference it makes when that sucker opens up. Isn't that nuts? Now, I got here a little bit early, but now the folks are starting to wake up and stir. We're getting a couple special guests. We're going to report that face to the FBI, make sure he's not wanted by anybody in any crazy third world countries for weapons dealing, perhaps. He's laughing over here on the side, as far as you know. Anyway, towing. Well, if you look at this, GVW 8,250 pounds. It's got a little chunkier hitch weight because of that drop frame front compartment. So, quote, is it half-ton towable? It depends. If you're going to be flatland, shorter to modest distance towing with a late model tow package half-ton, you'd be okay. You're going to know she's back there, you'd be okay. You want to do anything more strenuous than that, you're going to prefer having a 3/4 for sure, especially you start going up and down mountains things. Now we're in a full Delta, the big brother to Delta Ultralight. That's where we start getting the second air conditioner, the nose cap, like the optional auto leveling, the front drop frame storage compartment, but they both do these nice little comfort features, just considerations. Covering the power tongue jack just to keep the weather from fouling out the switches. It's just little things. It's just nice little things that they do here. Now, this big drop frame front storage compartment, very similar to what you might find on a fifth wheel in a travel trailer. Obviously, we've got some, leveling wood blocks down here. Doesn't matter how fancy it is. At the end of the day, it's just basic old wood blocks seem to always get the job done. But, holy crap, dude, you got some serious front capacity in here. Remember, though, everything that you're packing into this big compartment is going dead against the hitch weight of the RV, and you usually run out of payload rating before you run out of tow capacity, so keep that in mind. You see how they've got a 6-foot picnic table, auto included in there, because sometimes people and animals do gross things on public tables. We also have 3-way switches for things like your awnings and your slides. So if you want to open your awning up here, your slide out buttons on the other side so you can direct line of sight it, you can. And this RV has 3 hot and cold outside sprayer ports. You might have noticed a little coily sprayer hose included with the RV. You plug that little sucker in there. And on the other side of the RV, in your command center, that's where you have your hot-cold mixer. So you actually have triple hot-cold outside utility showers on this, which I still don't know that I've seen almost anybody else do. They nailed it on that awning. They gave us some severe awning space on this, and I've never had somebody want to trade in a camper because the awning was too big. I've had people trade in campers for a lot of reasons, but too much awning's never been one of those. I'm not normally a fan, well, I'm not a fan of hot air exhaust points like your furnace and your water heater right over here on the campsite under the awning. This being more of a couples model versus a bunkhouse, I can kind of tolerate it because hopefully adults know a little bit better, but if you get like my Uncle Gary and you tie one on, you're probably going to burn yourself. This is just kind of a Delta doing Delta thing. They just decided we're going to put these giant combo griddle grills on anything, grididdles. Grill diddles. I don't know. There you go. It's not a specially upgraded suspension, but they are rocking Goodyear endurance radials on these. That griddle. If you don't want that thing, it is factory standard, but it could always be removed, and you could probably just repurpose and or create like a little outdoor prep shelf or drink station or something like that. They are using those glass entry doors, and with the graphic they have at the bottom, that is very, very cool looking. But man, in the direct sunlight, you touch that glass straight on, it's gonna sizzle. It's gonna be like, huh, somebody cooking bacon? No, that's your hand, stupid. That's what I have to tell myself every time. On the back side here, we do have that 300-pound accessory hitch. It's kind of black on black, so I want to get a little closer to showcase that for you. You see another one of those hot-cold sprayer ports on the back, and then this ladder. First of all, it's wider, so it's just safer to go up and down. Secondly, that lets it be used as like a towel rack. Third, it's rated for 20% more weight than industry standard, 300 pounds. So let's just say American-sized folks can navigate that safely. And then in our early floor plan in a flash, you may have noticed how they are now putting a twice as large, like 400-watt solar panel on these. That's something they were previously doing only on their fifth wheels, but that's kind of the thing with full Delta. Delta Ultralight, parked right in front of this, it looks like a dog sniffing another dog's butt. They, at least to me, sorry, that's where the first place my brain went. I don't know why, but full Delta likes to include fifth wheel features in a travel trailer. The other thing that I think is really awesome, it's a single sewer outlet. So back there behind the slide where it's not blocked off and difficult to get to, they did cross plumb the kitchen gray water all the way back to that that consolidated sewer outlet, which is something very few manufacturers I've ever seen have accomplished on a floor plan like this. Heck, it might be one of the first I've seen. Most brands don't do that. Maybe. Imagine tends to be very, very good about it. I love the look of these. The updated look of this is fantastic. That new water filtration system, just another little nice touch because some places just have yucky water is the best way I can say it. And the docking center over here, it's simple, it's basic, it's straightforward. It does maximize cargo space. I don't know that I love it being kind of open face. I know they put the little plastic tray down there in case it does spray or sprinkle. This doesn't always feel the best and most awesome to me. And in case you're wondering, I think I mentioned it inside, but that is a rack and pinion slide system. So if you're willing, leave me a couple notes. Let me know what you think. Where did they nail it? Where did they fail it? They've obviously been listening to you folks. Is there something else they need to... Now that they've accomplished a couple big criticism points, are there a few more things that they could tighten the screws on, dial it up a little bit further? Let me know. In the meantime, I'll drop you some links in the video description. First of all, if you want to double check where we have one of these parked, what it might set you back, that kind of stuff, we will leave you links in the video description. To get to our website where we have our pricing clearly published on anything in stock, and we don't do hidden fees. We don't have these cockamamie, get ready, bull crap, cost you $4,800 extra on top of your purchase price fee games. We don't do all that kind of stuff. And like I said, this is a popular model. I'll dig up 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, links to other builders who make a similar layout, have you take a look at it. Chances are this is a little heavier, a little more expensive than most of them because of the equipment package on this. And maybe you don't need all that, but maybe it's exactly what you're looking for. That's why I put these videos together. And if you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button and we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.